Hello everyone! In this week's video, I'm going to be finishing my sister's picture based off of her rough sketch. I actually got this idea from one of you. You commented this idea in the comment section of one of my videos. So you suggested that I get a rough sketch from someone and then I try to finish the picture based on the rough sketch. And I thought this would be really fun to do with my sister because she also draws pictures. And so I told her to draw a super quick rough sketch of her picture idea, and this is what I got, and I got kind of nervous when I saw the rough sketch. Also, my sister will also be finishing this picture, and so we'll see how her picture and my picture are different. So what do I see in this rough sketch? So what I see are glasses and then an open mouth. So this right here is the head. And then I see really short hair that's slightly blowing in the wind a little bit. And then I think I see a hand by her head. I'm not totally sure what that lump is by her head. I decided that it was a hand because I kind of saw a line going from the shoulder area to the thing that looks like a hand. And then I see another line that kind of looks like her other arm. And she looks like she kind of has a band around her waist for a bow, kind of like a magical girl kind of outfit, and then a poofy skirt. Also, I don't know what this little lump is on the left side. I decided to make it a bag. I don't know. And I have no idea what's going on with the legs. The legs are so confusing. I just kind of put whatever I felt like worked. It kind of looked like the one leg was kind of bending maybe a little bit. And then there was another leg, but I'm not totally sure. My sister literally did this sketch in like 30 seconds or something. I told her to make it super quick and rough so that I would have kind of no idea what she was trying to draw. Also, there's all these little circly things around her and sparkles. And so I decided that those are maybe fairies. They kind of look like bows. But bows don't float. But I mean, I guess maybe they're floating bows. So I think they might be fairies. So I made them little fairies with wings, kind of like Navi from Ocarina of Time. So here is what I saw in my sister's rough sketch. My sister was laughing a lot while I was doing this because I guess it doesn't look anything like what she was drawing. So I started cleaning up this rough idea and adding more details. Her face looks kind of funny in the initial idea. So I'm gonna have her eyes be open, and then she has super round big glasses and her mouth is also open because that's what I saw in the rough sketch. I was really nervous while doing this because I wasn't sure how I was gonna make this look nice because the pose was kind of interesting and I wasn't totally sure where I was going with this. But the bag that she was holding really inspired me. So the idea for this is that she is a magical girl postal worker. She goes around with her magical powers and magical fairies and delivers mail to the people of the city. And yeah, that was my idea. I don't think this was my sister's idea. I doubt she created a magical mail person, but this is what I saw in the sketch, so I'm going with it. So I wanted her outfit to be kind of based on kind of like a male person's outfit. I'm gonna have her wear a collared shirt and it's kind of tucked into her little ribbon thingy, and she has her mail bag. And I'm gonna have her wear little loafers because I thought that'd be kind of cute, and she's gonna have knee-high socks. So yeah, that was kind of the idea for the picture. This pose was kind of tricky because there was quite a bit going on. She has her arm lifted and she has her other arm down and the one leg is bent. I think the trickiest part was the arm going up by her head. It's not a pose I draw very often, so it was kind of a tricky pose. One of my favorite details is the little floating letters around her. I didn't see that in the initial sketch from my sister, but I decided to add them anyways. I was just kind of using my sister's rough sketch as inspiration and trying to see what I saw in it. But it's okay if it doesn't end up like hers. It'd be really interesting if it does end up like hers, because I haven't seen it yet, so I guess we'll see. So after finishing my rough sketch, I did a cleanup sketch of my rough sketch. I decided to skip this because I'm going to be showing the line art, and the cleanup sketch and the line art are very similar. So I skipped the cleanup sketch and I am now doing the line art. I was feeling a lot more at ease once I finished the cleanup sketch. I was pretty pleased with how I was looking. I feel like her face is kind of cute. I like her facial expression, and the pose turned out fairly okay, I think. So I was really nervous while working on this picture, but after I finished the cleanup sketch, I was starting to feel better. I was trying my best to not make the character look too stiff and feel a little bit more flowy. Many of you know my character is looking stiff is something I battle with, and it's something that people point out quite a bit. I actually got a comment on one of my sketchbook tours recently, and they were like, oh my word, this art is so much better than her digital art because it's way less stiff than her digital art. And the art in my sketchbook I do feel like is a lot less stiff just because it is more sketchy. But since it's also my sketchbook, I'm not like scared of it looking a little bit wonky or things being a little lopsided. So just because of that, it automatically feels less stiff. But when I'm making finished illustrations on the computer, I don't want things to look lopsided or kind of wonky or a little skewed, or, you know, I want it to look nice and not wonky like in my sketchbook. So things end up being a little bit more stiff. I have been trying to study more and watch more videos on trying to make poses less stiff. I don't know if it's working, but I am trying my best. The line art went pretty smoothly for this picture. One of the trickier parts was the ruffles on her dress. I don't draw ruffles super often, and I often find them kind of tricky. I often just do up and down zigzag lines, and then I kind of draw the under part where you kind of see where the ruffles are folding, and then add little lines. The ruffles were a little tricky. Actually, her loafers were really tricky. I never draw loafers. So I was trying my best to get all the details of them. I kept struggling with the feet with this pose for some reason. I don't know why. The feet were just kind of tricky for me. For the little fairies in the background, I'm going to be doing those later because I'm just going to be using color for them. So I didn't add any line art to them. Are you bored? Oh, okay. Do you want me to tell you a way to entertain yourself? You can learn a new skill with Skillshare. Skillshare, an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes that cover a wide range of topics like animation, creative writing, music, photography, and so much more. One class I started is Painting with Color Pencils, a beginner's guide by Kendall Hillegas. My color pencil technique is kind of rusty, so I'm excited to get back into color pencils and also learn new techniques I can do with them. Skillshare is also affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month, but because Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description get 2 months of Skillshare for free. You get unlimited access to thousands of classes for 2 whole months at no cost to you. So join Skillshare today, and thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. So for the color scheme of this picture, my sister actually did give me the same color scheme that she used for her picture, just to help our pictures be a little bit more similar. So the colors she used were pink, blue, purple, a tealy color, brown, black, white, and a peachy skin tone color. It sounds like a lot of colors, but it's a fairly simple color scheme. So I decided to use a lot of the blue in her outfit because, like I mentioned, she's a postal worker, and I often see postal workers wearing the lightish blue color. So I made her shirt the light blue, then her skirt and the bag kind of a darker blue. And I wanted to include a lot of brown in her design for some reason. I was going to make her hair purple to kind of make her hair pop, but I don't know. There was brown in the shoes and then brown in the bow, and I just felt like I wanted to add a little bit more brown to the picture. So I decided to make her hair brown and I was going to make her eyes teal, but then I really like purple eyes, so I decided to give her purple eyes. I often forget that I like purple eyes, but then I remembered that I liked purple eyes. I wasn't sure what to do for her legs. I was thinking about having her wear like tights. But I don't know, they kept blending in with the skirt, so I decided to give her knee-high socks, and they're a light pinky color. I made the pink very light and very subtle. It's just kind of an off-white that's a very light pink. And for the background, I just used one of the city backgrounds from Clip Studio because I was lazy and didn't feel like drawing a background. So my idea is that she's flying over the city and she's gonna be delivering... Ow, I hit my hand. My idea is that she's flying over the city and she's delivering the mail to all the people of the city. I imagine this character says kind of cheesy things that they often say in like magical girl animes, like letters are special messages that carry the feelings of our hearts or something like that. And it's like all about letters and like why they're so important and magical. I actually feel like it'd be kind of a cute concept to have a magical girl that's a postal worker, and like there's just like random happenings, like something steals the mail and she has to get the mail back or something. So anyways, about the coloring, I am going around and adding my cell shading. I actually end up getting rid of quite a bit of my cell shading and blend it into my softer shading later on. But I do like adding the cell shading at first to get an idea of where I want all of the shading to be. I mostly end up blending out the cell shading on the clothing, just because that often does feel a little bit softer. But when it came to the skin and the hair, I kept a lot more of the cell shading. I did keep the cell shading on the ruffles, just because I felt like the cell shading really worked on the ruffles. So after doing my cell shading, I start doing my softer shading and I apply gradients to the picture. For a lot of this picture, I apply a dark color and then erase where I don't want the dark color. I often talk about this in my videos. I find it easier to erase where I don't want the shadow. Younger me would always just apply the shadows where I wanted them, but now I find it easier to just erase where I don't want the shadows. It's a lot quicker for some reason. I don't really know why. I really liked the color scheme for this picture. It was kind of a soft pastel-y color scheme and I liked the feel of it. I don't know how my sister used the colors because she kind of just gave me the general colors. She didn't tell me specifics, like if it was a hot pink or like a super bright pink or like what kind of colors the colors were. It was just like, oh, I use pink, blue, purple, teal, brown, and you know, I don't know what color she used exactly. I'm really excited to see her picture and how it turned out because I want to see how different our pictures are. Now I'm moving on to the skin, and I did the same thing that I did for the clothing. I apply a dark color and then erase it. I was actually kind of having a hard time with this picture. I don't know, something about the lighting just kept seeming off to me and I wasn't totally liking where I was going. I kind of had to keep tweaking things and slightly darkening the shadows and lightening the shadows and adding different highlights and stuff. I don't know, it just wasn't coming super naturally to me. It felt a little foreign for some reason and I was kind of having difficulties. But I am really happy with how her hair turned out. I feel like her hair turned out really cute. In my last video, I mentioned the whole highlight thing, how I put a band of highlight and then I erased the bottom. This time I decided to do it with shadow, and I feel like it worked well with the shadow. And then I added little things of highlights and little circles to make it look all shiny and stuff. And here's where I'm blending out my cell shading. I'm just using the blending tool to blend out my shading a little bit. And here's kind of where I'm going in and adding more of the highlights and kind of nitpicking things a little bit more. I felt like things were kind of blending together a whole bunch, so I added a few more highlights and also added more shading to her legs. I'm really happy with how the shading on her legs turned out for some reason. I don't know, I just like the shading right there. So now I'm kind of working on the background a little bit more. I shaded in the letters, nothing super fancy. I just kind of filled them in with white and then added a slight gradient to them and a little shading of blue. I also added a little bit more lighting to the picture. I added some light rays. I talked about those in my last video and how I like to add them to make the picture look more fancy. And then lastly, I'm adding the little fairies. So I made little balls of white and then I made their wings dark blue. I wanted their wings to kind of stick out and I felt like if I made them white, they would kind of just blend in. So I decided to make them the darker blue and it looks like a whole bunch of little Navis or fairies from The Legend of Zelda. I also added a whole bunch of little magically sparkly dust everywhere just to help things feel a little bit more flowy and magical. I applied a little bit of Gaussian blur to the background to help it feel a little bit more in the distant. I don't know, having it totally in focus made it feel kind of close, but I wanted it to feel further away, so I blurred it out a little bit. And lastly, I added some highlights to her glasses. I filled in her glasses with white circles and then erased them on the side where the light is coming from, and this just helps her glasses look like they're filled with glass. So here's my finished picture of a magical postal worker. Now I'm gonna go grab my sister and she's gonna show me her finished picture. Okay, so now I have Reagan with me.
Hi.
And she's gonna show me the picture. So here we go. Oh, it's so different. The pose isn't the same at all.
Yeah, that was the entire time when you're like drawing it, I'm just like, but body space was totally opposite direction.
How did I end up the totally other way?
Only thing they have is similar is that they're both floating.
Yep, they're both floating.
Bobs.
And have short hair. So yeah, that's my sister's picture and my picture based off of the same rough sketch. I think it's funny how they ended up nothing alike. But I hope you like my version of my sister's rough sketch. I had a lot of fun working on it, and I definitely want to do this again in the future. Let me know if you want me to do this again. Maybe I could do it with some of you or something. I don't know. You can let me know in the comments. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!